China has an immense history to draw inspiration from, which Next Studios did, resulting in a masterpiece. Bladed Fury, a 2D side-scrolling action game, is set in the period of the Warring States, in the year 379 before Christ. In this time in history, several Chinese leaders declared independence, resulting in 14 warring states. One of those states was the Qi state, which Bladed Fury uses as its stage for its moving narrative. You are Ji, a warrior princess, someone of ancient blood and also the daughter of Duke King, who rules the Qi state. Somehow you end up killing your own father, are exiled, your sister is wed off to the new evil ruler Qian, and it's up to you to take matters into your own hand and get revenge. To achieve this, you receive help from the wise spirits, ghosts of the past, soul slivers of defeated bosses, and ancient artifacts and family heirlooms. One of the many things to love about this game is this completely voice-acted story, which isn't your typical revenge story but comes with subtle twists and turns. For example, Ji refuses to believe that she killed her own father. But if that is the case, what did she kill in her father's palace? Our protagonist is rather young, you see, and rather naive, because she never left the safe walls of the castle. The boundaries between right and wrong, usually very clearly marked in both cinema and games, is slowly fading as you progress through the story. Not everything is what it seems to be. Your father's rule wasn't necessarily better than that of his usurper, Qian. Ji slowly starts to understand this during her journey, either by figuring it out herself or by talking to others. And so do you while you're playing this game. As you boot up the game, it's hard to not be impressed. I found myself just hanging around in this menu, listening to the soundtrack. I hadn't even played a single minute at this point. The typical Chinese art style is not something that I, as a Dutch guy, see all that often, but just look at these absolutely stunning hand-drawn levels. Each and every one of them just completely immerses you in the game. The sights that Bladed Fury offers every now and then are truly something to behold. When I found myself fighting behind the panels, only looking at the silhouettes of myself and my foes, memories of Kill Bill came to mind. I know that Kill Bill is a Japanese setting and not a Chinese one, but still. Then there's the combat itself. I would have settled for a game where all that was required is just to solve a few puzzles and then traverse through these magnificently designed levels. But Bladed Fury offers an interesting and deep combat system. There's plenty of attacks that Ji can perform, such as heavy and quick attacks, but the game also offers counter mechanics, blocking, dodging, double dodging and double jumping, allowing you as a player to adopt a very creative playstyle. Killing enemies and finding soul stashes rewards you with points that can be spent on upgrading your skills. Basically every existing skill can be upgraded and new skills can be learned. It's great to see that these new skills have a significant impact as well, such as the double dodge skill, which is really a lifesaver. You're taking on regular enemies, which can be tough enough by themselves, but also the real deal, the bosses. Each boss has its own background story. They aren't just placed at the end of the level, but during the level, your fate is starting to get intertwined with that of the bosses, until you reach the point where defying fate is no longer possible. A great example of this is a level where you experience flashbacks and discover this girl, who was so devoured by grief that she turned into something creepy, just to keep her loved ones alive. Bladed Fury offers plenty of bosses and each one comes with their own mechanics. They feature different attacks, sometimes even different stages of the fight, and figuring out how to defeat them can be a real challenge. It starts off simple enough, with the first boss only harnessing a few abilities, but later on the boss fights become very complex and your full attention is required to defeat them. Defeating bosses grants you access to soul slivers, which function as special powers. During fights, you can call upon the ancestors and spirits you just defeated to help you in battle. The pinnacle of awesomeness is this insane bazooka laser cannon, which I don't think makes a ton of sense in terms of history, but damn does it feel good to finish off a boss with this thing. Apart from a touching story and awesome boss battles, the developers put in some puzzles. Especially the one where you have to collect multiple slabs, yellow and green ones, in order to open different areas of the level was really well made. Solving this riddle takes a good amount of exploration, discovery and brainpower. This isn't something that basically insults your intelligence as a gamer, but a nice, non-frustrating challenge that you'll be able to solve using a great level design and your map. Bladed Fury is a coming-of-age story, wrapped in ancient Chinese art and mystery, honestly a game that literally does everything right. I love the ambiguity of the story, the boss battles, the traditional art, the soundtrack, really the whole game. Mostly because of the insane attention to detail, which seeps through every breath of this masterpiece. It's got it all really, for only €8. Do yourself a favor and get this game, you won't regret it. Alright, thanks for watching everyone and I will see you soon. Bye bye.